Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are fine. Today I am with the first lecture on glycosidic bond. That means introduction to glucose. Glucose, the term, you have been hearing it from your very childhood. You know many things about glucose. Nevertheless, I'd like to tell you some words about it. So let's listen. Dear students, from this lecture we'll try to know what is photosynthesis. Glucose is the source of energy. At the same time, glucose is responsible for diabetes mellitus, which is commonly called diabetes. So we will know these points one by one. Dear students, first of all, we will try to know what is photosynthesis. Photo is a kind of Greek word, meaning is light, and synthesis meaning is formation of chemical compound through chemical reactions. And this is a kind of photosynthesis which takes place in the leaves of plants and trees, where carbon dioxide is taken from air, water is taken from soil through roots, and in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a kind of green pigment present in the leaves, and the products are glucose, and oxygen is a kind of byproduct. This reaction is a kind of photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? The process by which green plants and some certain microorganisms use sunlight and synthesize nutrients in presence of chlorophyll is called photosynthesis. Here the name of this compound is glucose. It's a kind of carbohydrate, and it is also called sugar. What is sugar? The carbohydrate that is soluble in water, sweet in taste, and crystalline in structure. So since this compound possesses all these characteristics, so it is said sugar. Dear students, glucose is a kind of source of energy in our body. It produces energy through this reaction. Let's see the reaction. C6H12O6 reacts with oxygen, which is taken through inhalation, and produces carbon dioxide, water, and energy. This energy is used to run the lives of the living bodies. But how this reaction happens, or what is the mechanism, or what is the root of this reaction? We will see the root of this reaction one by one. Dear students, in the first step we will see the change of the glucose molecules. Here glucose molecule undergoes condensation polymerization. In presence of enzyme. Enzyme is a kind of biological molecule, typically proteins, that speed up the biological reactions that take place within the cells. When it undergoes polymerization, then cellulose is formed in the first step, which constitutes the body of the plant, and in the second step another polymer is formed which is called starch, which is deposited at seeds like rice, wheat, maize, and at modified roots like potato, cassava. Cassava is a kind of sweet potato, and in stem like spinach. Okay, dear students, we will see the next step of glucose. Dear students, from the first step we got starch that is present in different kind of foods like seeds, modified roots, and in stem. If this starch is taken as food, then digestion starts from our mouth, then stomach, then small intestine, then large intestine in presence of stomach acid, that is acidic hydrolysis take place. And again we got the monomer of this polymer, that is glucose, and this glucose then goes to the bloodstream where insulin regulates this glucose in the bloodstream. Some glucose, that is excess amount of glucose, is deposited in the liver as glycogen or animal starch, and some other glucose goes to the cell, and in the cell a kind of reaction happens. We will see this reaction now. From the second step we learnt that glucose went to the cell with the help of insulin. Insulin is a kind of another substance that is created from the beta cell of pancreas. Actually its function is to regulate the glucose in the blood. Now step 3 is production of energy. In the cell of the living body this reaction happens, that is glucose reacts with oxygen which is taken during inhalation, and then what is formed? Carbon dioxide is formed which goes out during exhalation, and water is formed and energy is formed. This energy actually is used to run the living body. So this is the function of glucose, to produce energy in the living body. So that is why it is said that glucose is a kind of source of energy. Now we'll try to learn how glucose is responsible for diabetes. From the previous discussion we learned that glucose goes to bloodstream in presence of insulin. Insulin is a kind of chemical substance which is produced from the beta cell of pancreas. If somehow production of insulin is decreased, then it cannot regulate the bloodstream glucose properly, and then in the blood the amount of glucose is increased. If it is 7.8 millimole per liter, then it is normal. One thing we should know, that is molecular weight of glucose, that means 1 mole of glucose is 180 gram per mole. That means 1 mole glucose is equal to 180 gram glucose. If it is 7.8 millimole per liter, that means 1.404 gram per liter, then it is normal. That is in 1 liter blood, the amount of glucose should be 1.404 gram. If it is more than 1.404 gram, or if it is more than 7.8 millimole per liter, then it is going to diabetes mellitus, which is commonly called diabetes. Dear students, now we will see what are the problems for diabetes. For diabetes, heart may be damaged, kidney may be damaged, nerve may be damaged, and at the same time vision may be damaged. So the effect of diabetes is very much harmful. Glucose is at the same time for life and for death. This is all about introduction to glucose.